So, like I promised a couple of months ago, I I would give my thoughts on the full season on WandaVision. Now, to those who didn't see my previous video, I only covered the first 3 episodes of WandaVision. So, if you're interested in looking at that, I would recommend doing so. But I finally got through the season of WandaVision, and honestly, I didn't really care for it. I didn't hate it, but I just even from the trailers, from when I even first saw the trailer, I I just didn't really care for it. I just thought it just shouldn't really have been made. I think Wanda should have just been left alone. But at the same time, on the other hand, this is a setup to the next Doctor Strange movie. So there are going to be some spoilers, so I'll try my best to not go too deep into the spoilers. But with that out of the way, yeah, I just didn't really care for it. I I mostly didn't really care for like the last. I didn't care for the last episode, and I wasn't surprised because the director of the show even said that, hey, this series finale, this last episode is going to be a bummer. This is not going to be what people are expecting or hoping for. So I'll give credit where credit's due. At least the director gave me a fair warning. So I'll give kudos to that. Although I do appreciate, before I get into the ranting and the stuff I didn't like, I did like how the Scarlet Witch was finally mentioned. I'll give the show that. I'll admit that Wanda finally has the identity of the Scarlet Witch. I mean, I didn't think it would happen like at all, because she's been around for 6 years since Age of Ultron, and she's just been known as Wanda Maximoff. So I'll give the show credit for putting in the identity of the Scarlet Witch, so also kudos to that. I'll give credit where credit's due. And there was just a lot that let me down. I mean, the show had potential, especially when it brought in Quicksilver, played by Evan Peters, not the other Quicksilver. If anyone remembers Aaron Tyler Johnson's Quicksilver. But anyway, so when they brought in Evan Peterson's Quicksilver, me and a whole lot of folks thought this was going to be like some sort of setup to expanding into bringing the X-Men into the MCU, but that's not what happened. It turns out that Quicksilver in the show was just nobody. He was just some random Joe, and it was really disappointing, and it sucks, because it feels like, it almost feels like a ripoff for people who kind of want to see the X-Men extended into that universe. But now, it's just wasted. That's out the window. I guess there's no more room for that. It's all just a throwaway joke. I kind of like how Wanda, in a way, was almost portrayed as a villainish like, but she's not really a villain. Okay, so she's clearly grieving over Vision after Infinity War. So when she's brought back from Endgame, we never really see her between Endgame and the show grieving over Vision. So her way of grieving and denying that Vision ever died. She's living her own utopia. She has like people brainwashed and held hostage in that town, which makes it hard for me to root for her. Wanda's a complicated character. We've seen that ever since she's first appeared in the MCU. I just can't get behind Wanda. I just can't get behind her. It's hard to root for, this superhero who clearly has her own issues going on and who's clearly in denial and is clearly mourning Vision. She goes out and she's holding this town, Westview, New Jersey, hostage, and they're all portrayed as like characters inside sitcoms, and each episode goes from like a different type of sitcom. So one episode will be in the 50s, and it'll go into the 60s, 70s, 80s, to the modern era of TV. But I know it explains where the idea of why having a sitcom, why she wanted to have a sitcom as a utopia. But why, of all things, a sitcom? She could have perfectly lived a happy utopia without making things a sitcom. She could have still had people brainwashed, but it didn't need to be in the form of a sitcom. Like, it's just bizarre and not healthy. I just couldn't get behind the hype. And unfortunately, from the last video I mentioned, I was hoping that this show would prove me wrong, and after the first three episodes, the show would get better. And I didn't really care for it. I just couldn't get behind it. I tried to get used to it. I did go in with an open mind. I just couldn't get behind it. If this wasn't focused in the form of a sitcom and it had like a different plot line or whatever, I think the show could have worked, but it just didn't. The Falcon and Winter Soldier will be coming out within the week, so at least we still got that looking forward to. But in the meantime, WandaVision was not for me. I know there's like a lot of mixed feelings towards this show, and I just really didn't really care for it. But you know what? At least I got to see it. I got to experience some more comic book characters brought into reality, because a sitcom, it just doesn't work. I get that Marvel is wanted to do something new, and fine, whatever. Sometimes new is good, sometimes it's not. Sometimes change is good, sometimes it isn't. But the change here, it just doesn't make sense. If anything, the show could have been Wanda grieving, and she finds the Vision's body. I feel like if you just take out the sitcom part of the show, and you have Wanda bringing back a Vision and Agatha getting involved and such, I think the show could have worked, but it just didn't, and I just didn't really care for that. Anyways, I gave it a shot. Oh, and before I forget, though, there were, like I mentioned earlier, so one of the credits at the end of the last episode teases the sequel to Doctor Strange, which is gonna have like a whole bunch of reality sort of messing around kind of stuff. Almost what Wanda did in the show. So there's going to definitely be like a lot of sorcery and magic within the next Doctor Strange movie. I'm in a sense I'm kind of glad that they used a TV show to bring it into a movie, and I'm fine with that. But like I said, if the writing was different, if the plot was different, if there was, if the sitcom formula wasn't there, if Quicksilver wasn't there, wasn't there just to be used as a throwaway joke, then the show could have worked. I don't know how much difference it would have made, but I think it could have been somewhat better. But anyways, let me know how you felt about the show. Were you disappointed? Mixed feelings on it? Were you happy about it? Let me know. Until next time, my friends.